In recent years, we're seeing more museums and cultural institutions than ever making an effort to prioritize inclusion and accessibility for their multilingual visitors. I can think of few better examples than the Louvre Abu Dhabi, which has all the exhibits in French, English, and Arabic. So to help us understand more about museum translation, we've invited the principal translator at the Louvre Abu Dhabi to come speak with us. Super excited to introduce to you Dr. Nabiha Maktabi. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Of course.
I was wondering if you could, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got interested in translation.
Yeah, actually, translation was always my first choice since high school, and I decided because I loved and I still love writing. So translation is all about the magic of words. Like it's another kind of writing. We are writers somehow, and so I decided to start my studies in translation. And after that, after my master's degree, I decided to pursue another master's degree also in translation. But one of them was more like media translation and the creative side of translation. However, the second one was all about the history of translation and the theory. It was on the theoretical side. And I started working, of course, and in parallel, I was working on my PhD. So, yeah. This is from an academic point of view. Career-wise, I started working. My first job in translation was in subtitling with a subtitling company back when I was still studying. And I used to get on a CD like movies with the script and just work on translating them. And after that, I started teaching Arabic for foreigners coming, exchange students from Europe. And in parallel, started working with the Special Olympics Lebanon. After that, I worked for around 3 to 4 years with the Industry Arabic, a translation company based in the US. And then I came to the UAE to work at Cleveland Clinic Abu Dhabi. It's a well-known hospital.
Oh, wow.
And out of the blue, I received a call from my company asking me if I mind going to the Louvre Abu Dhabi Museum for 1 week. And this was just 1 week before the opening. And I was like, yeah, of course, I would love to, because like I have an artistic side. So I went there, and I was supposed to stay there only for 1 week until they can get someone else to come. They loved my work there, and I loved working with them. So I was like, I want to stay, and it's my 5th year now, I guess.
MashaAllah, that's so great. What was your first week there? What did they have you doing?
Oh my God, it was crazy. I remember like it was 1 week before the opening of the museum, and outside where now you can see the visitor parking, it was still sand, like we were in the middle of the desert. And I entered an office, and I just saw people sitting on the floor, on the tables, everywhere. Like everyone, like they were working on press releases on the opening. Like it was hectic, and I was like, okay. it was crazy, but after that, like when I look at it now, I just feel so proud of like being part of such an international event and opening a museum.
That's so incredible. And the thing about in the Louvre, they have it's French, English, and Arabic, right?
Yeah.
For everything. And so it's just kind of like, okay.
For everything. Yeah.
Wow. And do you also, since you're from Lebanon, do you also speak French?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, wow. Yes. Okay. Because I know a lot of my Lebanese friends speak French as well. So that's super impressive.
And the translation work you do, is it Arabic English mainly?
Yeah, actually, I have a team with a French translator, and now I have an Arabic translator. I take care of everything. I send the French to our amazing French translator, and I handle sometimes, like, I have the team or the marketing agency work on the translation, and then I go through it and edit it and make sure it's within the tone of voice and the terminology of the museum. So yeah.
Very cool. And can you tell us, like, what about you museum work is unique as opposed to other, because I know you said you've also studied media translation. Can you talk about just like museum work in general when it comes to translation and localization?
Yeah, actually, working here is not only about the translation, because there is a cultural side that you need uh, to take into consideration, because it's the first international museum in the region. So I guess people not only here in all, like, in the entire region, are not used to museums in general. So you need to introduce this new concept to them in a nice way, and you need to attract them and invite them to come and visit the museum. So it has this cultural aspect, and also it's really sensitive because it's art. However, it has like different roles to play in the community. The different aspect is, like, I worked, for example, for Cleveland Clinic, like it was purely medical translation. But I really found my soul at the museum because it's artistic. You are translating about artworks, about art history, and we have like 4 international exhibitions a year. We have always rotations and new artworks coming to our galleries. So it's pretty interesting to just see how humanity, and actually the museum is known for, like, see humanity in a new light. And now it's like stories of cultural connections. So it just seeing, and even when you go inside the museum and inside the galleries, you're not gonna see what you are used to see in the museums elsewhere. So just a section for Egyptian artworks, or a section for Islamic artwork, and just the fact that you will be able to see a mask from I don't know, maybe South Africa, and then another mask from the region, and you're just gonna see the similarities between us. So it's pretty unique, just seeing everything from I don't know when until like contemporary art. It's the last gallery. So it's really amazing, and even the terminology and the research we do, especially because of the lack of Arabic terminology in the artistic field. So we are conducting research, and there is a new project we launched that's called Bil Arabi, focusing on terminology in art in Arabic. And we are still working on this project, but hopefully I guess it's gonna be huge.
Arabic. So can you give some examples of like مصطلحات? Because I used to live in Dubai. وأتكلم عربي شوية. What are some of the like some examples of it?
I don't recall for example, in French there is the concept of cartonnier. There are, like, for example, a job or a job description that exists in French, and it doesn't even exist in Arabic, and sometimes you just need to explain it. Or you cannot just find the exact same term. So this is what we are trying to do, to see if we have the same concept. If not, to suggest, because it will still be a suggestion, a term that is parallel to the term that doesn't even exist in our language.
Very cool. Awesome. Can you talk about, like, since you started working with the Louvre 5 years ago, do you have any kind of like very memorable or like crazy stories or something that sticks out as something that was funny or weird?
Uh, a lot of memories. And I remember crying because it was hectic. I used to work sometimes, especially during the anniversary season in November. We used to all work until midnight. And I remember once I had to work on a press release, and it was pretty urgent. And with the levels of approval, especially with press releases, it goes to the Louvre Paris. And I got the English like few hours before خلاص يعني we wanted to leave, and then the next morning we needed to send it out to the press. And I remember staying in the office while everyone, the entire museum left, and I only had my back then he was a unit head, and he's a dear friend of mine, Mayet. So he decided to stay with me. I was like, "Khalas, just go home. I'm gonna stay and finish the press release." I was like, "No, no, I'm gonna stay." So I remember him just cleaning the office, organizing the books, everything while I was still working on the press release. And we left around midnight. So it was crazy. And another thing was also during the opening time, we used to stay late, and I still remember this big table in the office. We used to go and just get dinner and just put food there and with music. So it was pretty fun, but it was hard. I remember we all cried.
Oh, wow. Okay. That sounds really intense. What are some of I'm curious, like, since, you've been working through the pandemic and things, what are some of like trends or changes you've seen happen in terms of museum translation?
Actually, I remember a friend of mine telling me that the museum is closed. What are you doing exactly? And I told him, during we closed, I guess, for 100 days. And then we were the first institution, like cultural institution in Abu Dhabi to reopen again. And it was as if we reopened the museum for the second time, and it was crazy. And even during the first weeks, we worked into shifting everything to the digital world and the virtual world. So we had few activities available online, but however, while families are at home, we needed to offer them activities to do with their kids. For example, the educational team worked on a make and play videos to just inspired by artworks in the museum. So we shifted everything to the virtual world.
And are you still working remotely, or do you go in?
No, actually, we are back to the office.
Oh, okay. And so do you work like directly in the Louvre, like in one of the offices
Yes.
there? Okay. Wow,
Yes.
that must be exciting to go to work at the Louvre every day.
It is actually, it is like just when you walk under the dome, I just see like, look how amazing it is. I don't know if you visited or not.
I didn't get a chance to when I went. I left Dubai in 2017, but I definitely want to go back and take, yeah, there have been changes a lot since then. I haven't been to Abu Dhabi in even longer than that. So
please let me know whenever you are here. Would love to take you on a tour.
Thank you so much. And I have a few questions, like quick questions. Just
Sure.
Tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. All right. So what motivates you?
My passion.
And what's that?
I see translation as magic, and just the fact that you have a text in a language and you transform it into a text in another language, and not just another language, another culture, another world, an entire new world. So this is magic to me.
Love it. What does the world need more of?
peace, because for me, peace, like peace on the ground and peace of mind are all related. And I guess we need this.
What's one thing that you would like people to know about localization?
Always think of your readers, because sometimes we just tend to forget and we just focus on the text we have. So I was telling my team this today, just remember who will be reading you. And as a museum, for example, I don't know, maybe some like 10 years old or someone who doesn't even speak English. So you should be able to deliver a text that is in Arabic, that is like well written for them to read and understand the message.
And they do it all in Fusha, right? Like everything is
Yes.
Okay, wow.
Yes. Sometimes if it's, for example, a marketing campaign or a post on social media, we tend to use a word from like a local word, like حياكم or هلا. It depends. Sometimes it really depends on the context.
Cool. And what's your favorite word in your native language?
Oh, it's a hard one. It's not easy, you know. What? Just one word.
Yeah, just one. I mean, you can give a couple, but what's the first one that comes to mind, like your favorite word? كلمتك المفضلة.
I guess we will go back to my answer, salam, that is peace, because it's, for me, yeah, like we really need this in the world. And on a personal level, I guess when you have this salam and salam dakhili, like inside, you will just feel happy in your life. So yeah, maybe.
Do you have a favorite, since you do translation, do you have a favorite word in English? Or French?
I would say maybe magie in French. In French, that is magic, because
magie. Magie. Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. Great. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And actually, you made me think of my favorite word, because I don't know, it's the first time. So I guess I'm gonna think deeper about this question.
Magie is great. So yeah, because I don't know any French, so magie sounds really cool. I don't know many. I know like je ne sais quoi, or je ne sais. Yeah, people or yeah, c'est la vie. It's like, but those are like phrases. Yeah. My favorite word in English, see, that's a hard one too. I like serendipity, just because the way the word sounds, serendipity, it sounds like kind of, then it's like a cool meaning, you know, or like entropy or something. But yeah. But no, I like, but yeah, peace or salam bil Arabi is a nice one as well.
Yeah, actually, I have another word, you know, like, because I'm thinking of it now. Shagaf. I really like the word shagaf. That is passion.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because even how it's written, and when you say it, and it's really sentimental. Shagaf.
Yeah. Salam, hope. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again so much. I'm gonna let you like go. I know it's getting late over there.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you again, and hopefully we'll talk soon.
Hopefully.